This is about as nice of a scene as I could ever imagine showing you. And this is a little experiment that I am doing. Hello friends, this is Jake J. Thomas, bringing you another episode of Everything Jake podcast. I'm out here sharing something that I love with you today, which is the ocean. I'm not going to say where I am, but you know, but boy oh boy, today is a nice day. And this is something I wanted to do anyways, is figure out how I could do a podcast and give you some interesting visuals rather than it just being me in the studio with my friends talking, which is going to happen again and again and again, and will be happening later this week. But for today, I thought I would do something a little bit different, and being that it is December, but it is also incredibly nice out, that I would share some of that with you. In case you're somewhere stuck in an office, in an airport, somewhere you don't have access to this beautiful view, but you do have your phone, well, here you go. And I'm recording it vertically because I'm assuming that you're going to watch this on your phone. Maybe you're just listening to it. In that case, I hope that you hear me loud and clear with the sound of the ocean behind me. So today, I was headed down to Monterey. The plans got changed, and so instead I am here somewhere cool, and the rest of the day I'm going to be going up and down the coast, stopping at different spots. I'm just filming for a little bit and recording my thoughts. But after I finish this one, I'm going to upload it for today's episode, because I like to release one every Tuesday. And consistency is something that I value. So even though things can be beyond your control, you can always find a way to get it done one way or another, one form or fashion. And this is maybe going to lead to a new discovery, maybe something cool. So as I'm looking around and seeing what I can see here in the Monterey Bay, I'm showing you some of that too, and that will just enhance the experience of why it's such a magical place. Even though that's not too big of a mystery as far as people want to come here from all over, because of the Monterey Bay, because of the ocean, the sun, the waves, people. Interesting group of people who live here, and a protective lot, and I understand why this is a magical setting for some magical activities. The desire to keep that safe, to protect that, is totally understandable, something that I also share. And so I always want to be spreading that message that the ocean is something to be respected, something to be, if not feared, at least shown, a lot of being cautious around it. It's a remarkable set of energies. It's a wilderness. It's a jungle. There's living things out there. There's literal underground forests. But it's a beautiful December day here in the Central Coast, and being out and about is a tremendous pleasure and an honor, and something that I don't take for granted. And so I wanted to share some of that with you. Now, I've been trying to find a better route down to Monterey so that I don't have to get on the one at all. It's the only thing that I really don't like about the ride. But there's a section of it where you have to be on one, which is not that bad in all cases or in all times, because it is kind of mostly got a good shoulder. The problem is when just big trucks come by, it's just such a fucked up experience. Even though we got room, it's like, it's nothing between you and them, but your skill and the driver's skill. No choice in those situations but just to go for it. It's not good. I don't like that. I don't like feeling like getting somewhere comes as such a risk. I don't know what a risk it is, but clearly that's a dangerous situation. So anyways, I've been trying to figure out alternative routes. How else to get down there? You stick closer to the ocean, into the side roads, can you avoid some of that traffic? And yeah, you can, to a certain extent. There's places where you can. Like, for example, going through Aptos, you have the ability to miss a lot of the frontage roads. And, I'm not going to say what neighborhoods you go through, but you want to figure it out, you can figure it out. But there are certain points where you can't get through. Now, here's one of the things that the Google Maps doesn't show you, or I didn't figure out from the maps. I had to go there in real life and see it for myself. And that is, even though it might look like there's access, it might look like there's a path, there also might be a fucking cliff. So yesterday, I was going south and trying to find access along the coast, and I ended up coming up to this section where it looked like you could get down to the beach, and then maybe if you had to just walk the bike up the beach a quarter mile, then you could catch the next part of the road or the trail or some other way out. But as I got to where it started to descend down, it narrowed out onto this point, and it was a crumbly little sliver of a point with maybe a 75-foot, 100-foot drop on either side. So that was quite a feeling of vertigo, both because of the size of the drop, and then also because of the texture of the ground. It was wet, crumbly, sandy. I mean, it looked like it could just fall apart at any moment. And that was an interesting little thing to walk out on. A little intimidating, but also cool. But it was clearly the end of the path. There was no way to go beyond that. So once you saw that, it was like, okay, Google Maps only shows you so much. And so it looks like, it turns out, there may not be a viable way around the one. You might have to get on the one for a couple of sections, a few sections, and then you can get back to side roads and neighborhoods and bike paths. And I really, really believe that that should be a big priority as a culture moving forward. We should have the ability to ride our bikes anywhere, and especially somewhere as clear as, these little coastal towns. I mean, if anywhere needs a bike path or should have a bike path, it's the Monterey Bay. It just makes sense. I mean, for crying out loud, let's get it done already. but lots of that is in the works, and so that's going to be cool, and that'll be really good. I can't tell you what an amazing feeling that will be when there's that option, even though I'm sure a lot of people still won't take it because it's a lot of work, to be honest. I mean, even though you're staying pretty much neutral as far as elevations, not a lot of climbing, but over the time of the long route of it, you still end up climbing pretty far, and people don't want to do that, so it's probably not going to happen as much as you might think it would happen. But it's going to happen a lot more if there is a bike path and it's safe enough for people to only be limited by their own physical endurance and their courage as far as that goes. But you shouldn't have to be courageous about fighting traffic to ride your bike from the north end of the bay to the south end of the bay. And that's just something I believe, and putting that out there into the world, supporting projects like the Rail Trail Project. Everywhere that I go that is trying to avoid the big roads, I find myself along the trail, the rail. And so if the rail trail did exist, that would be the thing I'm looking for, and so hopefully someday that will, and that'll be a moment to celebrate for sure, because it'll make our lives a lot better, and it'll just open up a lot of possibility for people to do things differently, people to look at things differently, organize their lives differently, not commute as much, and when you do, commute by bike. We'll all be a lot happier, and we just have to get into the habit. We got to get into shape. We got to get into the routine. We got to organize our lives to do that. And, climate change or not, I just think it's a better way to live. You're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, you're going to live longer, you're going to have better sex, you're going to eat better food, and more of it. Why wouldn't you do that? Instead, the other way is going to lead you into debt, having a bad back, getting fat,